This was the Gagalin's model he's working on. It's looking very nice. Need to open ZBrush for a model. Okay. This is the concept. That's a nice model, a nice concept art, whoever did it. Who did do the concept art, Lee? It's really nice. You didn't do the concept, no. Okay, well, no, that's fair enough. But whoever the artist was did a very nice job. And again, that costume is going to look great. 3D model. Yeah, really interesting design, again, for the costume. It's a nice model. She'll look good. I know that from your last model she was looking very good, so I have no doubt that you'll create something nice. Okay. Let's leave it here so I can get a bit better of an idea of what is going on. Not quite the colour I want though. Still a bit on the pink side. So I'm going to duplicate this layer again. This is the one that we've been working on, the very topmost layer. Let's play with our layer styles again. What's this? There's 40 million polys at the moment, so it takes a while. 1.3 gig file, yeah. 40 million polys, that's quite a few. You know, ZBrush though can handle that quite easily. But yeah, I know what you mean by taking a while to load up. Let me just change my saturations here, see what we can play with. I'm going to try that. This is just introducing a bit more shadowing through the middle of the bud petals of the flower itself. And of course anything we don't like, because we're still got it in the layer stack in Photoshop, we can just remove and resave. So I think that's a bit better, just a little darker, a little redder. More of the look I was going for. It just helps to make the flowers stand out against the rest of the model and against the statue itself. It doesn't get lost quite so much, that purple colour and the blue and the grey of the model itself. Let me just wait for Max to start to render in its occlusion a little bit so I can get a better idea of what it looks like. You also have a lot of garbage on my model that you have to hide. Yeah, okay. That's okay, take your time. I'm here until 2, so no rush. That's what I like about Max, because it has its layer explorer here. And basically you can hide, turn on and off different parts of the model if you want to, if you don't want something to render it, or you want to hide bits of geometry maybe that you've used to create parts of the model. You can put it into its own layer and then you can hide it or stop it from rendering. That's just anyone that uses Max, the layer manager, layer explorer here is really useful. It's the same thing as this here basically. You just get to it up here on the layer manager. But basically the same thing here. Anyway, so I much prefer this redder colour, but I'm going to, yeah, groups and subgroups. I'm surprised ZBrush they haven't put that in already. It's something that's really useful and it's used a lot in all different 3D software because it is so useful. Another good use for the layer manager here is you can save out different, if you've got different groups of people working on the same project, because I've done this, worked this way in other design studios as well. If you have a group of people working on the one model and you're all working on different parts of the model, the layer manager is really useful because you can save out just one of the layers and then you can import that layer. Other people can import the layer you've been working on into their versions of the file and combine it all that way. That's if you're not using version management software. A lot of companies use version management software now, but if you're a smaller studio, that's another option, another way to do it, if you don't want the hassle of working with version managing. You have about 100 different objects in the list. Yeah. That's that list on the side of ZBrush, yeah? Where you have your model, your little small images of all the model pieces you've been working on. It can get a bit overwhelming. Again, I'm just pulling back here on the model a bit so I can get a bit of an overall look at it. I really wish I've gone back to using Max 2016 Leakness because Max 2017 is way too buggy at the moment. Autodesk have really got to pull their finger out and fix it because people are paying for software that they can't use. Thankfully, I still have my license for Max 2016, so that's what I'm using now. Because it performs properly, there are no problems with it that I've come across, unlike Max 2017. Yeah, no, like I was saying, I prefer this red. It doesn't get lost so much in the model, and it will look better when it is rendered in Eon View. Once it has partial opacity put on it to make it behave more like an actual flower leaf, flower petal. Subsurface scattering, that type of thing. But that'll be done in a material once I import it into Eon View before I do the renders. I do want to change that bud though as well, from this purple here to a bit of a red. So again, I'm just going to duplicate the layer. Again, I'm going to change my hue and saturation here. Less noticeable on this one because the colour's really only at the top. I may just bring up the saturation a bit more. Like that. I'm going to do the same thing again here though. I'm going to use my erase brush with a very soft, large brush here and just remove that really vibrant green here from the bottom. It's kind of close to done, but you'll redo a bunch of things. You almost didn't touch the cloth part on the face itself and the hair since day one. Okay, alright, let me have a look. Yeah, but that concept art is really nice. She'll look great when she's modelled up. A lot of work though. A lot of detail in the costume. Oh, you've already started modelling her up anyway. Very nice. So this is the 40 million polygon model, yeah? I like the way you changed the colour of your ZBrush as well. It's a nice tealy colour. She's looking great. Yeah, nice detail. Very nice detail. Yeah, I like what you've done with her hair, it looks good. And like I said, all this detail you have going on here in the armour is very nice. Very nice. Nice, again, nice detail. You match the concept art very well. Really nice. Nice job. How long has this taken you to do, Leetness? It says 30 million, okay, but the version's 40 million. How long has it taken you to get to this stage of the model? From when you began, like, how many hours would you say? Yeah, very nice. He's looking great. And like I said, it's a real, very nice match to the concept art. You're on day 14 or something. Nice job. Did you finish texturing up the other model you were working on? I'd like to see that textured. You know, the last female character you were working on? Because it wasn't her, it was another character. And it was looking really good too. And like I said, I know you were talking about using physically based materials. You're doing 10 hours a day and it's taken about 14 days. Yep, that sounds about right. Very nice, nice work, really nice. I remember you were talking about using physically based materials on the last model you were working on. Did you finish that up yet, or you just moved on to this one for a bit of a change? But she's looking great as well. But the last one was looking good. Like I said, I would like to see it textured up. You didn't have enough surface detail to do a nice texture? Okay. Oh, so you're fixing it on this one? Okay, alright. Well, she's looking great. Model detail is very nice. And I look forward to seeing what it looks like completely textured, because it's a great looking model. It is. And textured, it'll just look amazing. So very nice work. Okay, let me just have a look again. Again, I think I'm going to partially select that middle section there. I'm going to do a Control-Shift-C and then I'm going to do a paste in place. And let's see if we can't change that color slightly. You've also done a quick concept sculpt of a robot head. Yes, show us. If you want to show everyone, then pop a link into chat there and I'll have a look. Just going to pull down on my brush here a bit. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm feathering out the top here. That's because I wanted to bring more of that orangey colour into the stalks as opposed to the green. But I think I'll just pull back on the opacity just a little bit as well. This is the top of the bud, and then that's the base of the bud, so it will be green at the base of the bud because, you know, things start green usually in nature. Plants anyway. Let's save this out. Again, we're going to save it as a target file. That's just my preference. A lot of people, I know the Galen uses PNG, which is another valid format to use. It's not a problem. Close 2, we'll leave it called that, I think. 24-bit is fine. Let's jump back into Max. Back into my material editor. And there it is. I want to change that bud texture there. We want to go to our Garden Terrace folder, and it's going to be called that one there. Okay, just the ends of the buds here better match the red that we changed it to from the purple. So I only wanted a touch of red happening. Let's see if I can find one of those buds. Here we go. A touch of pinky red happening on the ends of these buds to better match the flower here. So we've changed it from a purple to more of a red. Now these are the leaves I want to use in the background. I don't like these light coloured leaves here. So what have we got? It's supposed to be rendered with Keyshot and painted over, and you've got a link. Okay, let me have a look, Leakness. Okay, this is the model robot head you've been working on. Cool. It reminds me a bit of the one that I use for my logo. When it opens up, it's got a head that's shaped similar to that, with its little proboscis thing that pops up at the top, at the front. Oh, you've got three here. Okay, I see what you're going for. This is more like a portal type robot with the three pieces that open up, I'm assuming. Cool. Yeah, again, textured up, it look really nice. Because it's metallic, you can use physically based models, textures. You don't have to paint them all by hand. Looks good though. Are you going to work on the rest of the body or only doing the head? Yeah, I understand it's supposed to be rendered in Keyshot and painted over, that's fair enough. But as far as the model goes itself, it's nice detail. Is it just the head though, or are you going to do the rest of the body? Looks looking good, looks good. You like your character work, don't you? Which is cool. I always appreciate good character art. Just the head? Okay. Fine. Well, that's cool. I mean, the head textured up and rendered out would look very cool. That's right. Now I want to change the leaves on these textures as well, because at the moment it's using this default texture here, which comes with the plugin, which I don't like. I want to use the leaves that I created here. So I think what we'll do is I'm just going to move this up here so it's closer to where I'm going to be plugging them in. So just before I do that, I'm going to check what number it goes to here in the default. And that's the bark texture there, so we're only worrying about this one. And it goes down to 7, so it goes from 2 to 7. You've decided to be a professional character artist like a month or so ago. I won't laugh. I mean, you could be. Your work is great, and I'm sure that you'd find I don't know, you want to do game stuff. I'm sure you'd find a studio that would take you on, because your character art is great. Your modelling is great. That's your 2017 resolution. Well, it's a good resolution to have, and go for it. I do know if you do want to be a character artist, you do have to texture up those models, because they are going to want to see them textured. You know, the modelling is great, and you won't, you know, as far as the detailed modelling goes, you've got it down pat. It looks great. I do know those studios, they generally will only take on character artists that texture up their stuff usually as well, because that's an important part of being a character modeler. You know, film and animation, you know, the general, what I've found, I'm not going to say the general, through my working life, of working with different people and different design studios in different areas of 3D, whether it be games development, film and TV stuff, or architectural visualization. Generally people will start in games and game development, creating models for games, or they'll start in architectural visualization and they'll move to games, and from games they generally go to do cinema work. that's not always the case. People will just jump straight into cinema work as well, or stay in games, or stay in ArchViz. But I just know through my working life, most of the guys I've worked with started either in ArchViz or in games and then moved to cinema. With cinema, of course, it's, in a lot of ways it's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about polygon counts and texture sizes, so you can go nuts. You can let your imagination run wild and you don't have any of those restrictions, which is what I didn't like so much of when I was working in games development. Just the fact that you're constantly worrying about your polygon count and your texture size, that type of thing. And you have to when you do games development because they've only got a set amount of memory that they're working with, so... And I understand all of that. It just, for me, I felt like it stifled my creativity a bit. Not as bad as it used to be though, because graphics cards now have generally got a lot more memory than they used to have in games consoles as well, so... 227. I'm losing my track here. So yeah, no, go for it though. But do texture them up, because they'll look a million times... They look great now, but they'll look even better when they're textured. They really will. Don't get you wrong, you'd love to work for a game studio or even do freelance. Yeah, I do freelance work as well. I mean, I work for an ArchViz company. I'm employed by them. I do contract work for a game studio, and I also do freelance work, and I also sell my models through my own stores online. So nothing saying you have to do one or the other. Do them all. If you've got the time, do them all. Freelance work is great because you're your own boss and you can choose the projects that you want to work on as opposed to what they tell you have to work on. So it's always a good way to go. A bit more stressful because you've got to manage your own finances a bit more. You know, you've got to be on top of your finances a lot more. You're not like getting a regular paycheck. You only get paid for the work that you do. But I love doing freelance work. That's why I don't work just for one company. I prefer to work for a few, and I don't work 7 days a week or 5 days a week or whatever with one studio. Good way to work. But it is stressful and generally long hours as well. That's for anyone watching my channel here on Twitch. That's why I can only stream 3 days a week because I have other work that I have to do and I can't show it online when I'm streaming because I sign NDAs and they wouldn't like it. They'd scream at me, so they'd probably sue me. So if anyone wonders, that's why I only stream 3 days a week because I have to do other stuff during the week as well. 2 to 7. But do it, Leetness. You're talented enough, and I'm sure that you'll find no problem getting a studio to take you on. You have all the time in the world? Well, that's cool. If you've got the time, do it. And if you can find the time, do it. And most of it, you're either sculpting or watching other people workflow. Well, that's a good thing to do, particularly watching other people work, because you'll always pick up different things from different people. I know when I actually went to university and studied, but prior to that I always watched a lot of online tutorials and video tutorials or Twitch tutorials, and it's a good way to pick up tips on how to work, because everyone works differently. No one, as I say to people, well, the way I do things is not the only way to do it. I'm not saying it's the best way to do it, I'm just showing you my way to do it. More different types of people that you can see working, you'll pick up a lot of different tips. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing to do. done here. You went to an art school this summer and they were teaching stuff that you already knew. Yeah, you know, it's interesting to say that because even though when I went to uni and did my degree, a lot of the stuff they were showing me I'd already knew how to do as well. But that's cool because it just means that while you're there you can spend more time doing the work as opposed to learning it. So if you already know a lot of what they were telling you. You've been an amateur since from 2008 to 2016. Well, that's 8 years. 8 years, so that's quite a while. This plugin has a habit of messing up my materials. I don't know why it does it. Seems to be just a slight problem with the Grow Ivy plugin. Sometimes it can mess your materials up. Don't know if you can see what it's done here, but it's turned my flowers black. So, and that's because when I change my materials here, it goes from 13 materials, from 21 to 13 for some reason. Now let's try and fix that up though. It's the bark down there. You started when you were 13, you're about to turn 21? Yeah. Well, that explains why your modelling skills are so good, because they are. I was sort of similar. I started my first computer, you guys are probably too young to remember, but my first computer was a Commodore Amiga. I remember when I was young, like, you know, I was probably about, I don't know how old would I have been. I'd probably been about 8 years old playing with a Commodore Amiga and messing around with it. That was really what got me interested in doing 3D work for a living. Because the Amiga scene at that time, there used to be a lot of tech demos, like at the time it was things like chrome balls on a checkered floor, that type of thing, but that really got me interested in doing 3D. So yeah, Commodore Amiga, that was my first PC, back when I was about 8 years old. And of course, you know, being so young, I couldn't do much with it, but I had fun playing with it. Now I'm just trying to work out what exactly it's doing to my text. Thankfully I saved my file before we started playing around here with these materials. I'm just trying to work out exactly what it's doing. You played a PC game for the first time when you were 3. Yeah, cool. 3 years old, wow. Just before I start getting stuck into looking at what's happening with this material, guys, I'm just going to take a break for a couple of minutes and grab a fresh cup of coffee. That was Doom, okay, or Quake. Yeah, I remember playing Doom back in the day. It wasn't my first video game though. One of my first games would have been on the Amiga. Can't remember what it was now though. Yeah, no, I can't remember. I'm just going to take a quick break, guys, for a couple of minutes and grab a fresh cup of coffee. My one here has gone cold, and coffee is a fuel that keeps me going. So I will be right back in just a couple of minutes. Okay. That's better. Nice hot cup of coffee. Now let's see what's happening with this material here. Yeah, it's not changed that leaf texture either, so why is that? Why? It's because this one goes down to 13. Right? Oh, we have done that one. Let's start with this one. this one. Now all I'm doing here is varying between two different leaf textures in the texture slots. You're sculpting a new default face for your realistic models. Sweetness, cool. You've got a stylized one which isn't that great. Well, you know, that's why they call it stylized, you know. Your opinion of what stylized is, so that's, I'm sure it's better than you say that. Other than that one, let's go with this one here. Is the 15. What's this you're showing me? This is far from dumb, but that's how it goes. This is your stylized model neatness, I'm assuming. Let's have a look. You call this the stylized one? This just looks like the head model. What do you mean this is a stylized one? I don't understand. What's so what you're just creating this from memory from your own design in your head, I'm assuming. You're saying you're stylizing it that way. What we got here on 15? 15 is the stalk. Generally, guys, you won't have this much problem with textures and using the plugin. It's just because I like to vary up. I like to use more than just that default material and use a couple of different leaf materials on my growing ivy. And of course, I've also got these flowering buds that I have to contend with. So if you're not worrying about flowering flowers and you're happy with the default texture map here for the leaves, and you won't have the problems that you see me having here, having to change materials around. So I don't want you to be put off the plugin because you see me having to do this. Usually you won't have to do this. 16 is flower. Seventeen is the stalk again. You're using a reference for your head. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. It always helps when you work if you have a reference to anything. You know, sometimes you don't have a reference or you can't have one because what you're making just doesn't exist. But if you do have one, it's always good to have it open and work with it. Flower bud again. Is our stalk again. 21 is the stain. Let me just pull back here for a minute. Okay, so that's the one we've just been working on here, changing the textures around. Yeah, well, that's true. I guess there's always something similar, even if it doesn't exist. This model here doesn't exist. But, you know, angel statues, columns, wrought iron. I took inspiration from Dark Souls when I created it, because they had these overhanging banister railings I really like the look of. Yeah, no, it's true. It's always good to have two screens to begin with if you're doing any sort of design work. You have your main work screen and your second screen that you can put your reference material on to refer back to as you're working. That way you don't have to keep jumping between programs. You see me doing it here because I can't use my second screen because you guys won't be able to see it. Generally though, if I have Max open here and Photoshop, I'd have Photoshop open on my second monitor if I'm changing textures and doing that. You only see me jumping backwards and forwards here on this one screen because, yeah, OBS will only show one screen, it won't show two. No, well, that's true. Not necessarily every detail or even the shape. Just so long as you have something to work from, it's always helpful. It always makes your life easier. Okay, so this is the texture we just changed the leaves on. From this default green, which I didn't really like, to something a little bit more interesting, a darker green and a little bit more detail in the texture. These textures I think are only 256 by 256, and I have a feeling these ones I made at about 1024 by 1024. Yeah, second screen is wonderful. Third screen can sometimes be really useful too, but definitely two screen. I found when I had three, I've got two now. I have my third screen I've moved to my second PC.